What's up, guys? It's Oblivious Gamer here, and today I wanted to talk a bit about Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Bleach Rebirth of Soul is this new anime, you would say, arena fighting game that just came out. It's developed by Tamsoft and, of course, published by Bandai Namco. Came out for the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, and PC. Now, a big thing when it comes to Bleach Rebirth of Souls is it's been a while since a actual Bleach game, so there was excitement for that. It's been some time. And then of course, as more trailers and more gameplay and more people started getting their hands on the game, there was excitement of the gameplay not being on the quote unquote simple as arena fighters. Arena fighters tend to have sometimes negative connotation with situations with some people think gameplay is very simple, to characters just being clones, and a lot of problems here and there. That doesn't mean that it's always the case, but with time, it seems to be that a lot of people are gravitating towards that. That doesn't mean the game is not enjoyable, but sometimes people are looking for depth, and a lot of times these arena fighters are not as, built in depth. Like I said, there are exceptions. There are games that actually do have those, but most of the time, because of how they're built, it's very quick and not as enjoyable. So people were getting excited about this game, and the game is out. And what I'm gonna do is just some quick thoughts, like what I think about the game as a package, issues, and what I think the future is for this game. So, for starters, package. So, this game comes in with a story mode, training mode, versus mode, so you're able to versus people locally, online, and of course some other, small stuff, gallery, store, tutorial, things that you can expect in an arena fighter. I would have to say, in terms of presentation, this game is fantastic. And what do I mean with presentation? Well, graphically, I think the game looks fine, but the music, I think the music is amazing. It's from the start, like when you're clicking start, that song that plays is super good. The menu songs are insane. The character select songs is so good, and also
Now let's just see what this sounds like played backwards. Drop the bass. Drop the bass.
every character, when they do their awakening, they all have their own songs, and some of them are just so catchy. Like, I love Yuroichi's awakening song. I think hers is just super cool.
Sorry, but you're not getting past. Get that blade out. We're fighting now.
Time to put an end to this. Come on, it's time. Let's end this. It's the end. This is
My holification!
Here I come. As if. Really see the root.
And I think that adds a lot to the expectation, the vibes. What are we getting here? And music is just top tier here. So I wasn't really expecting much, but I was quite surprised with what I got. At the same time, I don't think it would hurt if they could release maybe as a DLC pack some of the songs and audio tracks that we see in the anime. Like I would love to have Ichigo's awakening, like when he does his Bankai and you hear number one. So I would love if they would add that. I mean, I would pay for it. Then, in terms of like I said, packaging. So story. I'm surprised with how complete the story mode is. Now, that doesn't mean this is like holy shit. Single player story mode is insane. It's very serviceable, but I think it does a very good job compared to some other arena fighters. A lot of cutscenes, a lot of like animation that you're gonna see. The thing that I noticed with arena fighters, sometimes, depending on how much budget there is, the story mode can be very lackluster. Sometimes it's just PDF. Sometimes it's just JPEG files with like voiceovers or like you're watching a PowerPoint presentation. So the fact that they animate so many, like it's insane the amount of cutscenes there is. I'm quite surprised with how it is. Also, some of the fights, some of the gameplay, what you're doing, it's pretty well built. You know, like I said, it's not insane, but there is something there if you want to play it out. And well, if you do want to unlock, there's some characters that you can unlock when you beat or when you get to a certain point of the story. So you still have to go through it. So it's enjoyable at least. You know, it's not going to be too tedious. You can skip the cutscenes if you just want to rush your way through. If not, you're going to be enjoying all the way from the start to when Ichigo and Aizen finally fight. So that's kind of like what the story mode is. It doesn't have some of the newer stuff that we saw in the latest arcs and the new arcs that we're seeing. That's another big thing with the game. A lot of characters are reflected within that time period. So because, for example, some characters haven't shown their true powers, their bankais, and some of their abilities, you're not gonna see it. You're not gonna see Rukia's bankai, or you're not gonna see Shunsui's like bankai, like because we see that later. We don't see these in the 1,000 year. We don't see until like the 1,000 year Blood War arc. Some characters are not present, even though they have character models like Orihime, because again, according to an interview, she shows more of her fighting abilities in the 1,000 year Blood War arc. So that's another thing. If you're gonna get the game, expect that they are true and true up until like the fake Karakura town. Offline, like I said, versus training mode, pretty complete, pretty robust. You do have online, where there's free match, room match, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, packaging wise, I think it does a good job. It's pretty complete. I'm really digging a lot of the game here. Now, let's talk about issues. The game has a lot of issues. Now, I want to preface, these issues are not necessarily the game. I mean, mechanically. So what's the problem right now? Which this stuff can actually be solved. So one of the big things that we're seeing is the game came out. PC players are having a bit of a rough time. Seems like there's a decent amount of players who can launch the game, can play the game just crashes, which they're trying to fix right now. That's probably a thing that it's probably gonna get fixed pretty soon. But yeah, that's a big thing. It doesn't look as good on console as it looks on PC. We've seen that comparison. There's jank, of course, so it just comes with like some stuff that they need to like fix, which a lot of people are finding now that like it's been some more days and people have been playing. Then a big talk and complaint that we've seen is, since this is a fighting game, there is no rank mode, there's no leaderboard. And I've seen some people being like, well, there's no need, we just have fun, let's just play games. And then there's people who are like, no, I want my rank mode. I see both sides. I think having a rank mode is not a bad thing. But yeah, there is no rank mode. However, people have found in the files that there is. So it's probably something that might come later on. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's issues and stuff that's like, oh, you can solve it later on. Another thing that I want to add to, again, the problems I'm seeing with Bleach is connection issues. So right now, I don't know how many people are having this problem, but I have seen complaints, and it's been happening to me, where connecting to matches or finding matches can take time. Sometimes people are saying they can't. For me, it really takes some time to connect with or find somebody and connect with them, which, like I said, I'm not expecting this game to sell millions, but when the game just came out, I am expecting people to be playing online, and I'm not finding matches. Like, it takes some time. So I'm hoping that gets fixed. Again, that is something that can be fixed on their side. Connection can be iffy. Sometimes you can feel that it's not as good. Sometimes you get like 4 bars and it's still not good. I don't know how much they can fix that. As somebody who plays fighting games, we finally got to the point where we use a rollback netcode, and when it's done well, it's really smooth. So it's a bit sad to see a game like this, the connection being not as great. So I don't know how much it's gonna affect people, because I've seen mixed messages with like how many people are being affected by this. So that's why I'm kind of adding this, is like, this is stuff that can potentially be fixed. But a lot of my complaints currently are really stuff that is just, with time, it can get fixed if they want to. Connection issues, not finding matches, that's stuff that definitely, it's more like on their side, or more like netcode, that they could just patch some stuff up, because I don't think it's supposed to work like that. Then I would say, mechanically, the game has a pace. It's very neutral heavy. There is free flowing combos, but I don't know. It's really gonna depend on the person. Like, it's really gonna depend how much you're gonna put the characters in, how much you're gonna lap, because people are gonna find stuff that's very basic and they're just gonna roll with it. And then of course you're gonna have people that are just finding touch of death. You're gonna see their videos and it's like, wow, this is an insane combo. So I think mileage is gonna vary depending on the individual. But yeah, I would say the game has some neutral heavy. It's not as crazy as I would have wanted it to be in terms of comboing, just the potential of combos. But I think it's serviceable. I think I'm gonna see a lot of people who weren't like, oh, this is just gonna be something basic, and they're gonna realize, oh, it's not that. There's a lot of other things that come into play, mechanics that like help the game be more interesting and more entertaining. Now, in terms of what I see the future, or where do I see the franchise going? Right now, we're gonna get DLC characters. That's obvious. There is 2 paths that I see, and it's gonna be really up to you how you're gonna take it. So, obviously, the game just came out. There's no reason to be talking about a sequel. There's no reason to be talking about what's next when we're still here. But I'm kind of curious what Bandai is gonna do, because I've noticed this trend that they have, where if a game does well, like especially like we've seen it with Dragon Ball and we've seen it with Naruto, they just stick with that game and they just keep adding DLC, and you probably might never get a sequel. Maybe you get like an update, but not a true sequel. And what games do come to mind? Xenoverse, that's one of the biggest culprits up until this day, is still getting DLC. Kakarot is one of the latest ones, so they're still adding stuff to Kakarot, they're still adding story mode stuff. And for example, Naruto Shinobi Strikers, that's a game that came out years ago, and somehow they're still adding characters, or, well, I haven't been following, but they did add characters for good amount of time. And then the Storm series, we recently got this remaster, re-release, whatever connections. For also Storm, they released like Road to Boruto. Like they kind of like when they have something, they just work on it. And the trend has been, let's just add stuff to this. And I mean, I could see them just adding more and more and more characters to the game. Why not? People are gonna pay for the DLC. So that's kind of like a potential route for this. A second route is it gets a sequel, but more like in like how the Storm series does it, where like it's just some more characters, maybe some changes in the gameplay here and there, like to spice things up, but nothing too crazy. And then the final thing is, the final route is if the game doesn't do well, that's it. Like we're not gonna get a sequel to this. Maybe some years later we'll get a new Bleach game, but that's it. But I don't know. I think the game is being received decent enough and people are getting it, so I think the game will get something. Like we're not just gonna be stuck with those 4 DLC characters that have been data mined. I think we will get more. The question is, what are we gonna get in the sense of like, are they just gonna keep adding characters infinitely, or are we gonna get eventually some sort of sequel? But like I said, this is very in the future. The game just came out like some days ago, so this is just some thoughts I've been having, especially with how Bandai has been handling some games. So yeah, I mean, true and true, I think this is a fun game. As a Bleach fan, I've been enjoying it. I have some complaints. There are also issues. Some of these issues will be solved with time. Some of them might not. You know, it's the way that the game was built, so it is what it is. But I think overall this is like a positive step forward, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds for this game and the franchise. And like I said, I think the game is doing well. Hopefully it does well and we get more Bleach in the future. As always, so guys, what are your thoughts? This has been Oblivious Gamer, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.